Rolling meadows, secluded stream valleys, vast tracts of tidal marsh. These natural areas are important not only because they provide crucial wildlife habitat, but also because they offer recreation for our citizens. Recreation free of telephones, automobiles, and stress. Greenways are corridors of open space that link pockets of undeveloped land. If we can protect these areas, we can create a ribbon of green from Fox Point to Fenwick Island, from Blackiston to Bombay Hook. Lifelines stretching north to south, east to west, extending in all directions and even into neighboring states. Working together, state government, citizen groups, communities, and local governments, we can achieve this goal. In the next few minutes, you'll hear more about Greenways and how you can help make them a reality to be enjoyed by future generations of Delawareans.
The majesty of the great outdoors helped make America and Americans what we are today. The outdoors is a wellspring of the American spirit, vital to our belief in ourselves as individuals and as a nation. We celebrate the outdoors in our literature, art, and music. Artists and photographers have been stimulated by the outdoors. Musicians, too, have found inspiration there. The outdoors has served as the training ground of athletes and philosophers, of poets and scientists. It has molded our history, our heritage, and our national outlook. Today, we benefit from a legacy left by scores of men and women who work to conserve and protect our forests, our parks, our wildlife. Our nation has protected vast tracts of land and water and invested enormous sums of money in our federal and state parks, forests, and reserves. They are world-class resources, and they remain bulwarks in our recreation and conservation estate. But they tend to be limited in their ability to meet the growing diversity of America's needs. Most Americans live in urban areas. We need open spaces close to home. Greenways will meet those needs. Greenways are not new. They have existed in this country and in Europe for a long time. Greenways connect recreation, cultural, and natural areas, like parks, forests, wildlife refuges, and historical landmarks that allow people and animals to travel from one green area to another. Greenways can follow rivers, streams, wetlands, barrier beaches, and hilltops. They can cross fields and forests. Some greenways are publicly owned. Others are private. Some are for recreation. Others protect vistas or wildlife habitat. And because greenways often follow waterways, they help trap runoff and sediment that would otherwise flow through streams and rivers to the Delaware River and Bay, inland bays, even the Chesapeake Bay. Greenways make existing parks more accessible and are generally less expensive to acquire than large parks. They also help reduce air pollution and add a new dimension to commuting. They may wander from rural areas to urban and may cross state lines many times. Greenways come in many forms: biking and hiking trails, boating and fishing sites, vacant lots for just messing around after school or work, and paths of grass and trees extending their way through cities and countrysides like verdant fingers of green. People are not the only creatures who need greenways. Though a good number of wildlife habitat areas have been set aside as reserves and sanctuaries over the past century, biologists and ecologists are concerned that without the genetic interchange made possible by wildlife movement corridors, these habitat islands created by man will inevitably contain far fewer species and far less diversity of life. A series of lifelines connecting key parks, refuges, and habitat islands can largely alleviate this problem by helping to maintain biological diversity. Junctions between land and water are the best location for such greenways. Greenways are often unsuitable for many uses that would give them great economic value. Being long and narrow, they don't offer the large tracts of land needed by developers. There is considerable support for greenways in Delaware, support that is growing. Some greenways are already in place here in Delaware, as well as across the country. Rockford Park, Kentmere Parkway, and Brandywine Park connect to make one well-known greenway in Wilmington. Several groups of citizens are envisioning a series of greenways that, linked together, would extend from Newark to the Delaware River. Another group shares a vision of someday extending a greenway along the entire coast of the state. Many more are working toward the reality of a network of greenways throughout Delaware and beyond. The Lipsick River corridor, with extensive marsh on both sides, is a natural greenway. The Mason-Dixon Trail connects with the Horseshoe Trail, which in turn connects with the Appalachian Trail, the longest greenway in the East. Today, in our fast-growing urban areas and near the water, we are losing our forests and fields at an alarming rate. Wetlands and wildlife are disappearing. Residential and commercial developments are denying access to the waterfront in our urban and rural areas. Competition for the remaining lands and waters is becoming fierce. We must stop taking our outdoors for granted. We must recognize that its upkeep depends on each and every one of us. Aggravating these issues is an increase of our national population of over 2 million people a year. Delaware can expect to see another 80,000 people in the next 10 years. This expected population growth will certainly aggravate the demand for more housing and other land development, more potable water, better sewers, and more and faster roads. All this will tax our ability to manage and dispose of wastes. Exacerbating all these problems are the constant and unpredictable shifting forces of nature. Delaware's natural setting is among its most valuable assets. From the rolling hills and pastures in the north to the salt marshes and beaches along the coast, real treasures abound in our state. Delaware's environment is rich in beauty and diverse in plant and animal habitat. The state's many natural attractions provide enjoyment and recreation for its citizens and visitors who come here each year. Delaware's first land conservation measures took place over a century ago. Since then, a strong system of parks, forests, and wildlife areas has been created. In fact, over 7% of Delaware's natural resources is now protected. Delaware's proposal for a statewide greenway plan represents the next generation of conservation efforts that will ensure a healthy environment for the future. Theodore Roosevelt once said that nothing short of defending this country in wartime compares in importance with the great central task of leaving this land even a better land for our descendants than it is for us. Delaware is making a commitment to future generations to protect our natural resources today so that the environmental legacy we leave is one of which we can be proud. Greenways help achieve that goal. And you can help by finding creative ways to establish more ribbons of green to bind your neighborhood with your neighbors. People like yourselves working together will decide where greenways should go in their community. Ask yourself, what special tracts of land exist that have recreation potential or embody a part of the cultural heritage of your community? Where would you like to preserve opportunities for future generations to enjoy the great outdoors? Here are some places to look. River and stream corridors, abandoned rail lines, wildlife migration routes, scenic roads, trails, and paths, parks, forests, and pastoral countrysides. Remember, as you're looking for places to create greenways, outdoor recreation creates jobs and economic vitality in our communities. It can raise real estate value of adjacent land. It stimulates tourism. It enhances the quality of the environment and promotes stewardship. It helps prevent crime. Greenways foster a spirit of belonging to our community and strengthens the bond between generations. Greenways are an investment in our education, our culture, our heritage. America's strength is its people, and it is to the citizens across the state of Delaware that we look for the leadership to meet tomorrow's needs.